Yeah. Are we on? Are we on? Hello, everyone. Right. Can you hear me there? Alright. Alright. Alright, we're gonna start with this nice and magical song. Alright. We're trying to see how we're gonna connect with each other tonight, this evening. Right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them at us. My name is Mihai, and I'm here with Daniel, and we're gonna try and open to you guys what we have within the mind. I mean, I'm gonna let Daniel join in with the questions if she has any questions, and also you guys are welcome to join in. And I'm gonna try and open the depths of my mind to you guys, and I'm sure most of you really have the feeling that 99% of you guys that are listening to us will connect, and I'm pretty sure this is gonna get even bigger and bigger. And purposes and the one goal that is that the whole world is connected into one individual. Now, for me to say that is a big statement. So I say let's give it time, see how it evolves, and see how we can get there. So I'm sure you already have loads of questions, and throw them at us. I don't see any questions yet. I don't know how many of you are out there, as in how many of you listening to us. I hope that you can actually hear us quite easy, quite comfortable. And if you don't, please let us know. Right. So even before we started this broadcast, we was talking about don't leave anything unfinished. Right. Daniel asked me if it's okay to put some more water in my glass, and then I haven't finished the water in my glass, and I said normally it's advised that you finish what you have first before you move on. Now, most of you will say, oh, well, that doesn't mean anything. And of course it doesn't, because if you believe it, you achieve it. But if you believe that it does mean something, and I'm sure a lot of you connect with the fact that if you leave one thing unfinished, it becomes a habit. And from one thing, it becomes two things, three things, and before you know it, you have a handful of things unfinished. And then now you have a lack in the confidence to even start anything new, nevertheless finish it. So please do let me know if you guys want me to elaborate on this. But so far, what I'm recommending, if you start a book, do not start the second book unless the first book is guiding you to the second book at the middle of it. So let's say you're reading the first book and you say, oh, you know what, a reference from this quote, you should read that quote first before you continue this quote, right? That's the only means that you should start a second thing. But if you start a book, finish it, unless you don't like the book or you think you don't like it. Now, this is where it becomes a bit more in-depth, because you think you don't like it, or you might not be ready for the book, and so on and so on. That's why it would be brilliant if you guys would start asking questions. Because if you start asking questions, that could be a lot easier to understand what type of audience we're having here. And then I could start guiding you. Now, I'm not really sure if you guys want me to talk about fitness-related stuff, sports-related stuff. Me personally, I really like to talk about mind and things that we actually deal with day to day. I'm not really the type of person that would go into politics or sex debates or anything like that, because I think sexes are only on this plane. So on the next plane, we probably would not even think about it. Even on this plane, we shouldn't really like disconsider one person because of sex, background, nature, nationality, and all other things. Basically, so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I really think that we're absolutely all, we are all gods, and we are just wearing different costumes to this show. This is an absolutely beautiful and amazing show. It's an amazing drama. Everyone dreams and lives according to how he sees and perceives and feels the drama. So just so you guys know, this is actually a deep broadcast. Probably might or might not be what you guys want or like, and it's not a problem. All we want to do here is not find problems, just solutions. So first, or actually second thing that we're gonna go into is earlier on into the day, Danielle actually, I've asked her what she would think would be a good topic to get into, and she suggested maybe we should talk about perception. Right? Now, perception is basically, it's just a word, but the way we perceive certain stuff or certain things is not the same as our neighbor or brother, sister, mother, or let's give you an example. The daughter is marrying a guy and she has certain feelings for the guy, so she's perceiving the guy in a certain way. So the mom will not perceive the guy in the same certain way, or the dad or the brother, or even the guy, he's in love with a certain lady. So absolutely equal that his family would not perceive the lady in the same way. So what I'm saying, this could go in even further. Like, if you think that, let's just give you an example. You just went to the market and you wanted to buy some products, potatoes from the market, right? So you said to the guy that was providing the potatoes, "Oh, do you mind? How much is how much are you selling potatoes?" And he will give you a straight, fast, or quick answer, and you might perceive that in a certain way. He might just be, let's say you perceive it into a rude approach, and you would be like, you know what, I don't feel like buying his potatoes anymore if he's rude. But you can also get that wrongly. Most of the times we do. That person must have had a long day. I'm pretty sure if you ask the person again, how much are you selling the potatoes? Excuse me, do you mind? I didn't hear the first time. How much are you selling the potatoes? I'm pretty sure he wants to sell the potatoes, and he will give you a nice and an amazing answer. I know it sounds mad, but that's just an example. The thing is, we most of the time perceive things in a certain way. So before we start getting upset within, because basically this is what we want to get to. If we get upset within, then obviously it's not good for your own being as an individual. You want to be focusing on good things, happy things. Because if you think now, of course now you're gonna say, "Oh, it's another one of them positive people. We had enough of you, positive and vegans," right? So you're probably gonna go, "Oh, you know what? No, that's enough. Jesus Christ, that's enough," right? The thing is, you have to try it. You have to prove me wrong. It's okay. You can say, "Oh, you're wrong," but can you prove me wrong? This is the thing, But can you prove yourself wrong? First thing, before you say you're wrong, "Oh, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that." Ask yourself, why? Why? Or if a certain thing or a certain person says, "Do this or do that," ask yourself, how do you know? Right? Who told you? Who is your source? Who is that source? is that a reliable source? You know, before you start getting, it's perfectly fine for you to ask these questions, and it's your right as a person to be informed, to be rightly informed, not misinformed. Because the thing is, we live in the era right now that we live it is the misinformation era, right? A couple of years ago was the McDonald's era, but now is the misinformation era. So the thing is, this is how media gets propaganda thrown out there, and we, the common and the masses, we're just going around in circles and circles and asking and wondering what we should do, right? What's our purpose? Because I'm sure we have a bigger purpose than just going to work, coming down, going the 2 hours in the morning, smelling everyone's farts and everyone on the pits, you know. It's easy to complain, you know. Sometimes we was the ones that actually made other people to, you know, to smell our farts or underpits, you know. So thing is, we have to actually go beyond and under and deeper if we want to actually live a life that is actually worth living, you know. Because at the end of the day, we live in a place that is so much information, and at the same time double or maybe 10 times the amount of misinformation, you know, because everyone wants to sell his product. Product is what? It could be this or that, you know. That product could be good or bad, and so on. And also, I'm not actually saying that one person's good product could be the other person's bad product, so on and so on, you know. Because in life, we have to understand that a certain person will be happy to live on a salary that is £40,000 a year, and the next person will be unhappy to live on that because it might not be enough for him. So going back to what I'm saying, we are differently satisfied, right? But what we want to get to right now is how do we get there? How do we get to satisfy our needs, right? Well, firstly, before we
So before we lead on to that, I'm just going to ask a question before we go into the break. Right? We're going to take a break for a minute. The question I'm going to ask is, how is perception created in the first place? You know, Mihai, are we born with a perception? How is that created? And what molds our perception as people? Why do we all perceive things differently? Or, you know, why do we agree with a certain party or a certain person? How do we perceive things to be right and wrong? Because it has to come from somewhere. So, yeah, if you could just give us an insight to that before we go to the break, and then we'll come back and answer it fully.
Well, basically, do you know what it is? A lot of the times our perception comes from our families, or from our background, or from so-called friends that we call them friends, or medias, or books, or a certain amount of things, you know, like whatever we surround ourselves, you know, we tend to forget that we should actually sit down and sit in quiet and actually listen to what our inner self says to us instead of listening to the media. Because at the end of the day, nobody really knows how you should be as a person. I'll give you an example. Everyone goes, Jesus this, Jesus that, Muhammad this, Muhammad that, you know, but it's easy to call names and, you know, at the end of the day, if all this was fulfilled, you know, we would not be so many people in this world. The creation would have been stopped at 3 million or 1 million or whatever. That's it. God would have said, oh, you know what, this is enough. You know, I had 1 million, enough of them. But we are 7 billion things. We all more experimenting. So is the inner energy that is experimented. So perception, really, the real perception is your own made belief with the help of your surroundings.
Wow. Okay, we're going to take a break. I know it's at the pinnacle. I know we're at the peak right now. You want to hear more? Just take a break, finish your glass of water, and then put more in it, okay? Don't put any more water on top of the water you got in the glass. See you soon.
Right, okay, are we on? Are we
Hey
on?
guys, welcome back. Well done for coming back. Thank you for being here. It's great to be with you. Thanks for being a part of the journey. You are on the We All Fit Limited podcast, Mihai's Mind. And the question I asked before the break to Mihai was, how is perception created? And what is it that molds our perception, And I just want Mihai to elaborate on that for us. He mentioned family and background, friends, books, and our surroundings. So Mihai, I'll leave the floor to you.
Hi guys, welcome back. Right, now, first things first, you're probably gonna ask yourself, well, how do you know, Mihai? How do you know? How do you know what molds our perception? Well, basically, I'll tell you how it is. I just experienced a lot of things. I went through a lot of things. I was quite religious. Then I gave up on any type of religion. And then I start listening to my own inner voice, which I recommend you should all do. And that inner voice start telling me where to go, how to do it. Of course, you're gonna call this Alzheimer's, but hey, hey,
Got a name for everything.
we all have a voice in the head, and then if we consider the Alzheimer's, which you all be on pills or vaccines or whatever the system creates for us. Now going back to perception, let's start with this amazing thing. Let's say that you was born in let's say anywhere on the planet. It would have been easy if someone would have just send a message, so I can read a message and say, oh, that place. But let's just call any place on this planet. What is a common place on this planet? Maybe America, or maybe, but America is a bit multicultural, so we can't really choose that. So let's just say that you was born, let's not call a place. Let's just say that you was born in a certain place on this planet. Now, if you was born in a certain place on this planet, and now the system believe in that country or planet, it would be in a certain way. But the thing is even deeper than that. The country is not even the biggest thing, because you could have been born in a certain country, but you might have different beliefs than your neighbor. Then the next thing is you was born in a family with 5 or 6 brothers and sisters, and again you will have different beliefs. So even though that you lived under the same roof, right, the same roof in the same house, same parents, you will grow up to have different perception in life, and that's the beauty and the uniqueness of you being an individual, right? I'm not saying there is something wrong with having a different perception, because that makes us all unique and beautiful. All I'm saying is your perception your own perception, or is it influenced by other common factors or in common, So what we want to do now is we want to find out what if you are influenced by books, media, friends, and surroundings, right? So, like I said, it would be amazing if any of you would comment and ask questions, because I could answer to a certain questions, and I can guide even further into this. So, at the moment, like I say, I'm gonna recap quick what I just said, and is even though that you was born in a country, you will be different than your neighbor. And if you was born under the same roof and you have a big 5-person family, like 5 brothers, 5 sisters, 5 siblings, basically, you will be different than the people around you. So you will definitely have a different perception. Now the thing is with perception is, where you have to look at when we talk about perception, is your perception deceiving you? right? Now, I might see an ad on the television regarding, I don't know, toothpaste, let's just call it, right? Now, if my system believes, which actually get involved with my perception, because if my perception is that the toothpaste is good, that means my system believes, just jumped into my with to help my perception, or actually make my perception even more real, right? And say, oh, you know what, this toothpaste will be good for us, right? At the same time, if I was on another day, or another member of my family, which is the closest to you, will see the same ad at the same time, same day, it will be like, oh, this is not good for me, right? Now, I hope you guys are listening. I'm gonna take you even deeper. Now, I don't know. I'm not really aware of how the laws of the universe working. I'm just aware of a couple of laws that I actually experimented and actually lived to say, I know, I believe in these laws. You know, the law of karma, or these days called the law of attraction, right? So whatever you put out there, you get back, right? So if you have a thought about F the world, you're gonna get back F Mihai, right? So that's pretty much easy. It's not complicated. But there's also other laws, the laws of gravitation and other laws. But we're not gonna get into that very much. All we want to try and understand is perception. That perception is like, is my perception mine, or is the perception that I have actually guarded and inflicted by my surroundings, right? So what we want to do, we want to find out how much am I in control of my own life. Now let me give you. I have this theory which I had a couple of years ago, that if I was to get born again right now, like not obviously right now, but if I was to get born and live exactly the same life, exactly every single experience, exactly everything that happened to me to be exactly the same in this universe, it will still not be the same me. Now, of course, you're gonna ask yourself, how can you say that? Well, the easiest answer I can give you, that implies duality, right? And duality is unacceptable in the universe because everything is individual. Universe only creates things once and it doesn't repeat them, because if it would, it would be like a manufacture thing. It's not like we get the same t-shirt. Like, I know I'll give you a bad example, but same t-shirt, we buy the same t-shirt and we go to the shop. I hope this is like genuine and unique. And obviously the shop owner will say, yeah, of course, but then he's got like a stock of 1,000 pieces bought from China, right? So I'm not saying China is bad. I appreciate China is doing a lot of amazing things for us. All I'm saying is, if the universe will do the same, then it will be two of me in this world. The universe does this. He creates almost identical, but also we are individuals. Right? Otherwise, we will not be 7 billion people on this planet. And obviously and evidently, we all have our own perception about, we all have our own perception even about perceiving the perception, right? So I know this is a mind boom, but hey, that's why I keep saying, guys, questions. I want questions. You got no questions, I got no answers, right? Now, I know exactly what I know, but how can I go into depth if you guys don't throw the questions at me? Is that a good answer? Is that
yeah,
for
it's
you?
amazing.
Right?
You know, you just mentioned that the universe doesn't create the same thing, okay? And we're faced with a world that is trying to conform us to be the same, You know, we try
Yeah, I
and have.
understand.
It's important to have role models.
Of
You
course, yeah.
know, I think it was Denzel Washington that said his role model is himself in the future, which is quite inspiring. He never really looks up to an outside person as like a god for him. He leads by
Ma-
what he visualizes himself to be.
Matthew McConaughey, I think. Yeah.
Was it Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think both of them. Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like that perception part of it, and that the universe is creating us individual. How important is it for us to embrace that individuality and not fall into the traps of conforming to what the world has to offer us?
That's a brilliant question. Basically, what I'm understanding is talking about perception and getting to universe. And obviously, everyone has his own perception, and then now the universe created us individual and unique. Now, since we being on this plane here on the planet, we call it Earth or Terra, or other people call it by different names, Adam or whatever. Um, thing is, it's very important not to conform. Very important not to conform to the society. Now, I'm not trying to start a revolution or trying to make you a rebel or rebellion against your system or anything, you know. The system is there to help. But to be quite fair and quite honest, we have to accept the system as it is. As George Carlin once said, can't complain about the system. This is the best we could offer. So that's what we put in, that's what we get out. So we can't complain about Prime Minister or the Queen or this or that, right? So if we want a better future, then we have to start with ourselves. We can't expect an outside person, an outside individual to treat us better than we can treat ourselves. If we don't listen to ourselves, how can the next person listen to ourselves and actually respect us more than we actually respect ourselves? So, first of all, be an individual. Do not conform. That's your responsibility as a person. And right. And your uniqueness, best thing you have in life, right? So, I'll be honest, and I'll say it again. Be who you are. If you don't know who you are, sit silent, shut the curtains, shut the music off, turn the Wi-Fi off for a little bit, disconnect all your friends, the TV, all you have, right? And just be quiet for a little bit. Listen to your mind. See what it says to you, you know? Obviously, in the beginning, it's going to say a lot of things because you haven't listened to the mind for a long time. And the mind's going to say, F this, F that. But what about this? But what about that? F that person. Do that person, right? And then so on and so on. But give yourself patience. You know, some of us have 20, 30, 50, and we never listen to our own minds or our own hearts. And we're going to go, oh, but how do you know? Oh, but how do you know? You know, I know. And I can prove it to you. Throw a question at me and I'll prove it to you.
So we've moved on. You know, that was very in depth. We've moved on to something even more in depth, is the mind and sitting alone. We're bombarded by technology, by social media, by the TV, by everything. We're bombarded. It's hard to escape the real world. So my question is, how important is it for one individual to be alone without any distraction and to actually get to know who they are without reading a book, without social media telling them who they are, or any of these mediums, anything like that? My question after the break to answer is, how important is it for one person, one individual, unique being, to be alone and learn who they are? We'll see you after the break. Enjoy the break.
Enjoy the break, guys. Is it on? All right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you had a nice break. Here we are. Real Fit Podcast, Lecture 1, Mihai's Mind. Are you happy? Are you happy?
Right, nice song, beautiful song. Okay, welcome back, guys.
So before the break, my question was to Mihai is how important it is for us to be alone as individuals without any distraction to discover oneself. That was my question.
Right now, the thing is, it's easy. I can't stress enough. I don't really stress, but I don't stress. I used to. Well, I was working physically a lot, and now I've understood that when I was working physically, I was more hungry for food than I was hungry for knowledge and for spirituality. And when I say hungry, I was actually greedy when I was eating. So I'm not going to go in deep into that, but I'm sure a lot of us go into that. They say, as also said once, that one individual without love, he will try to make up for that love. So he will eat, he will drink, he will do whatever needs the need, to make up for the love. So what I'm saying is, love yourself first. Right. So going back to the question, can you repeat the question for me, please?
So I asked, how important is it to be alone without any distraction to discover oneself?
Right. Now, being alone, when we mean by being alone, I'm pretty sure what I meant by being alone is I meant that oneself should be in the state of meditating. Being in the state of meditating, that means it requires that you should be. Personally, don't really advise group meditation, but if that's the only solution or option you got, by all means, go for it. It's better than none. But also at the same time, if you can afford to be at home, at the end of the day, it only takes to wake up, sit down, be quiet, and listen to your mind. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do more than 15 minutes. And the same thing before you go to bed, right? I'm not going to go into too much details on it unless you guys ask any questions, and then if you do, I'll go back on it. Right, what I'm going to go back on is the perception and the universe and the individuality. Now, I'm pretty sure you missed, because once we go on the topic, I mean, it's quite easy to ask certain questions and miss some of the important answers, some of the important values. So when I say ask the universe, or the universe created an individual, like I said, and I'm repeating myself, and tomorrow I'll probably contradict myself, because we're evolving, and if you don't evolve, you will never contradict the person of yesterday. So what I'm saying, the universe created all as individuals. Otherwise, we would not be so many. Why would the universe go through the trouble to create the same person twice? I, as human with this small mind, I don't see the purpose of creating the same child twice. Even if you have twins, they probably look the same, but they're not the same. They'll never be the same, and so on and so on. You guys see, you have two pieces of paper. You write on these pieces of paper. If you was to analyze them into details, these pieces of paper are not the same, right? Or you have certain wines, or whatever. We don't have to go into details with this. Thing is, we are individuals, first of all. Now, what does it mean to be an individual? An individual has certain physical persona, physical expression, all the physical identity that other individual doesn't. But also that certain individual has certain expression about his own persona that he perceives about himself. Of course, we're going back to perception, but his own persona that he perceives and projects to the world. Now, this is deeper, because you see, the person that you see in the mirror is not the person that your mom or your dad or your friends see. And we're going back to perception, right? Now, you have to understand that this is a beautiful thing, and that's why you have to go and sit down and see who you really are. Because if you express or project a certain persona to one person and the other person and the other person, a lot of the times you might be playing tricks with your own mind. But it's beautiful for the other outsiders, as in outsiders of your own body, I mean, to see a different persona. But keep in mind, a lot of the times you're acting. Don't be an actor against yourself. And I'm sure Daniel has a question for us. I'm just going to pass it to Daniel quick.
Yeah, so this is very powerful what you said. We have a personal perception of who we are personally. So if I was to use myself as an example, my perception of myself would be, all I'm good at is swimming. That is it. Okay, so that's my personal perception of myself. And my question is, how much of the time is that personal perception influenced by people without, rather than by the actual fact of who we really are? Do we perceive our true self?
Yeah, this is an amazing question, sorry, and I would like you to actually ask me the same question again, if you don't mind, because it's a lot of topics within the question. So if you don't mind, just ask me the question again, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So my question is, is the perception of self influenced by your family?
Right. Well, the perception is, of course, you get influenced by a family. Of course, you get influenced by everyone around you. Well, to be quite honest, your mom might say to you, do this, and you might think that your mom is being upset with you, and your mom actually asks you politely to do that thing. So it's not really like that. The own perception is a different thing. But also the thing is this: it's lack of confidence, not really the perception. Because you might perceive that your mom said, "Oh, do this," or "Go throw the rubbish outside." Just give you an example. Like take the bags out, take the rubbish bins out. And you might perceive that your mom is upset because you might take it as a punishment.
She just wants you to take the rubbish out.
We all know that we just have to take the rubbish, otherwise we'll stink. So, so you have to take the rubbish out because it's just rubbish. Nobody made it, just us. We made it, right? So you might perceive that your mom is punishing you by asking you to take the rubbish out. Also, this is the deepest thing that you have to think about. You have to think about the fact that by perceiving that you are being punished, how much does that impact your self-confidence? Right? Now, in the beginning, like, this is where it all starts, because it starts in your childhood most of the times, or for some of us are not affected by the childhood. But anyway, some of us forgot that. And it only comes up when we drink, or we smoke, or some people take drugs, or so on and so on and so on. But a lot of the people are they're going through depression, or they can't find themselves. They're always looking means or reason to escape. Like, I'll give you an example. A lot of the people travel. They will tell you they love to travel. But hey, let's be honest. There's a reason you like to travel. You're always happy and bubbly. Of course, you're always happy and bubbly because you're looking for tomorrow. You're not living today, but you're always looking for the next escape from reality, from the truth, which is what is the truth? The truth is you must have had an impact or something happen in your life that makes you always look for the forward escape instead of looking for what happened in the past. Try and analyze it, fix it, and forget about it. Because at the end of the day, if you invest things in your past, if you invest energy about the things that you think happened in the past, and a lot of the times are just perception or self-invented things, you will always live in the past or in the future. So that's the thing. You should try and forget about the past, try to forget about the future. Just, if the past upsets you, write down what upsets you. You don't have to tell me, but you can also try and connect with me privately, and I'll try and help you. Right. So the thing is, if you have anything that really gets to you, like, of course we all have secrets and so-called demons. There's no demons. The only demons are the amount of times that we think of them, right? So let's say when I was young, I'll give you guys an example so you think. Like, when I was younger, definitely I jumped the fence and I stole from the neighbor, I don't know, a couple of grapes or whatever, right? I got away with it a couple of times. Fourth time got me. He slapped me, and that's it. Moved on, right? You never do it again. And then later on, this thing affects you in your life. Oh, I don't want to be recognized as a thief. Let me tell you how do you get really quick, because we only got like 2 minutes. Like later on, I'll give you an example. I go to the gym every day. Not every day, but most of the times. You know, like Monday to Saturday, Monday to Friday, I try and go to the gym. And then someone's something, I don't know, phone or whatever, got stolen or something. And in myself, I was saying, I hope they don't blame me, right? But that is my own perception, because I knew that I've done it in the past. I stole some strawberries or whatever. I stole grapes, right? And I was like, I hope they're not going to blame me. So you see guilt, perception, and also a lot of other things, they start going against you. Self-confidence went low, and so on and so on and so on. Sorry?
Yeah,
what I'm saying to you guys, believe in yourself. Have self-confidence. It's very important. Try and get connected with your own self. Try and see where you're going. Try and see if you're following. And also, don't let people to follow you. Don't be followers. If people follow you, make sure you're actually teaching those people values. You know, don't be a mischievous person. You know? I hope you guys enjoyed this evening. And I wish you guys all the best. And if you have any questions, we will try and answer them in a future lecture. I'll pass you on to Danielle. I hope you stay happy, and all the best.
Thank you so much, Mihai, for joining us tonight on We All Fit podcast. It's our debut. Thank you for joining us and checking out our podcast. All I want to say to you all is Mihai is available through We All Fit for mindset sessions. If you feel like that's something you want to join in with, visit us on Facebook on the We All Fit page. Visit us on weallfit.co. Email us at beunique@weallfit.co. Hope you've enjoyed our first podcast. We'll see you again next week for the second lecture of Mihai's Mind. Take care. As he said, be happy, be you, be unique.
Be all the best you can be. Don't let anyone bring you down. Wish you well.